Hi, I'm Dr. Stuart Gerber, one of the percussion instructors at Georgia State University, and I'm doing a series of videos tutorial videos to help for the GMEA All-State Band application for percussion. So this video is for the Symphonic Band Snare Drum piece, and I've done a video on how I play that, the first excerpt, but then I thought there's a couple issues I'd like to talk about, so as you're getting ready, maybe you can think about. The first is the downbeat of the piece has a 4-stroke rough, and typically I will stick that by going right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. But in this case, because it's fortissimo with an accent and at a slow tempo, I'm actually going to alternate it. So I'm going to go left, right, left, right. I just can get a little bit more power behind it. You can do what you want, but I like that approach to that particular 4-stroke rough. Another thing is roll speed. Obviously, we're supposed to do this with closed rolls, and the tempo's at 58. And so if you're, which isn't too fast, it's pretty slow actually. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Hopefully you can hear that. Da, da, dee, da, 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 dee, da. I'm going to turn my snares off. If you do roll speed at the 16th note, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. I think it's a little too slow. It just doesn't give kind of the energy that one needs. So, on that first measure, the second beat, if you were to do 16 notes, it would be 6 hand motions for that dotted quarter, right? So singles, something like that. But I don't think it has enough energy behind it, especially for a fortissimo roll. So I will actually do 8 notes for that during that dotted quarter note. So it's kind of a maybe a strange rhythm in a way because it's kind of an 8/6, but I just kind of speed up my hands. I'm still starting with I'm right-handed, so I'll start with my right and end with my right. Obviously, if you're left-handed, you can do the other, but it's going to, instead of 6, it's going to be 8. It just gives it a little bit more density. Now, I don't always go faster with my rolls. It kind of depends on the musical circumstance, but in this particular case, on these louder rolls, I'm going to give it a little bit more. And it's a personal choice, and it makes it a little trickier perhaps, but I think it makes it sound better. Another thing to consider with this piece as you're doing it, and of course my video is only the first excerpt that you need for the first round, for the district round. I will do a full video of the whole piece at some point as well, but I figured you're probably focusing on this first section. So another thing is be careful, try not to accent the rolls unless they're accented. So again, in that first roll in the first measure on the second beat, a lot of times I'll have hear students play, So how I like to think of my rolls in general is it's a band of sound, and if there's no accent and no diminuendo or crescendo, it should all be at the same dynamic. So for me, what I do to try to help manage that is I almost think of a slight accent on my second note. It's not that bad. I don't do that much, but the second note of the roll, so that it forces me to keep both hands kind of the same volume, rather than, I think you could probably hear that. That's just a general rule of thumb. I like to almost think of an accent on the second rolled note. Another thing to consider with this piece, flams. At the end, starting in the second line. Do you alternate your flams, or do you keep the sticking the same? You can do either, or I happen to do both in this piece, I think. On these pianissimo flams in the measure 5, measure 7, I'm going to do them all as left-hand flams, meaning the grace note is in the right hand. That might be a little strange for those of you who are right-handed. Oftentimes people put the grace note in the left hand, But my thought with flams and roughs and anything that uses grace notes, the harder notes to play are the grace notes. So I put those in my strong hand typically. Not always, but typically. So measure 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then in the next measure, when I crescendo, I'm actually going to alternate my flams. This is a personal preference. You can do what you want. It can work both ways. I just like how it kind of opens it up and helps me do with the crescendo. So those two measures together are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you can do either. And mess around with it. You never know. Sometimes we get stuck on certain things and we do things a certain way. I like to try different things. And the last thing I want to talk about are I kind of touched on this. Sorry, I can bring that back up. At the end, the roughs or the drags in measure 12 and 13. Like I said before, with the flams, I'm going to put those in my right hand, the actual grace notes. So that means I'm going to do left hand roughs. I'm going to do all those the same. Again, like with flams, whoops. You can alternate them. For this particular application, I like to do them all the same, and I put the harder notes to play, the grace notes, the fast notes, the diddles, in my right hand. That might be different for what you're used to, but I like putting those grace notes in my stronger hand. Well, good luck with this audition. I know it can be stressful, but hopefully these tips will help you, or at least give you stuff to think about when you're learning this piece. And check out the video I did of this first excerpt, just as a way of listening to what I think is a pretty decent version. Thanks.